Hi everyone, Alex Steffen here. We've been getting a lot of inquiry this week for sites in the Ipswich region. It's a bit of a complicated area because they have a draft planning scheme that pretty much rezones almost the entire of Ipswich. There's very small pockets where the development potential is basically the same. So what happens is we get an inquiry in Ipswich. We have to look at the current scheme and what the development potential is, and then what the future planning scheme is. And then, even then, the future planning scheme is only in draft. So that could also change too. So we kind of have to give two bits of advice and then kind of weigh up the options and weigh up the risk as to which. Whether they should lodge now or lodge under the new scheme and wait. So anyway, I thought I'd look for some sites in Ipswich with you all. So let's have a look. I mean, generally, stuff in Ipswich needs to be at least 1,000 square meters to be able to subdivide. So we'll make that minimum 1,000. Make the maximum 5,000. Actually, let's just leave it for now. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, Carolee actually does have quite a bit of potential. So right off the bat, 16 hours ago, let's have a look. 66 Linden Way, Carolee. So first, I'm going to go to the current planning scheme. 66 Linden Way, Carolee. All right, so it's got flooding. It's got all the fun stuff. Yep, it's completely goes underwater. So let's not. So for reference, that yellow area is the fire. I think it's the 20% AEP, so 20% chance of that happening a year, and then this blue is the 1%. So there's no way council is going to support that site being subdivided. For reference, also, we recently had a pre-lodgement meeting with council where it was a flood-affected site, and basically the feedback was they don't care what your resolution is or what the risk mitigation method is for the flood risk. They're just not going to approve development in a flood area, which is pretty disheartening just for a council to have that kind of approach. But you know, it is what it is, unfortunately. Let's have a look at this one. Probably house probably a bit nice to bother looking at further. Yeah, so this one is probably big enough to subdivide. It's got a big area out the front, but look how tiny the access is, and there's a stormwater grate and a driveway. So where are you going to put your green boys, sewer, water connect meters, driveways, bin collection? Just basically becomes impossible. So I'm just skipping over these ones because obviously that's quite a nice house, and there's no way you're going to rip all that up to do a subdivision. North Ipswich, you can pretty much see from this image, it quickly slopes away from the street, so I'm not going to bother looking any further. All right, 21 Matthew. Rosewood's kind of up and coming. We do get a lot of inquiries for sites in Rosewood. What is it? Oh, whoops, 21 Matthew. So you can kind of see that finding sites in Ipswich is quite a bit more effort. All right, character load density. So yeah, it's a protected house. It's probably not a goer. Okay, this one looks kind of interesting. Looks like it's got dual frontage. 156 Red Bank Plains Road. 156 Bank Plains Road. There it is. Okay, interesting. So RL02, that generally allows kind of development of average lot size of between kind of 600 square meters and 1,000 square meters, which you can average over the entire site, over the entire region, actually. So I think that would work. It's got a high pressure main. We'll just have a look at that to make sure it doesn't go directly through the site. But yeah, no, it's all the way over here, so that should be fine. And look, they've subdivided directly opposite, so that's always a good sign. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now, it's very important to look under the new scheme with sites like this. So this is only added 3 days ago, so that's a fairly good sign. Let's get rid of these two. I always have a quick read of what they're pitching here. Yeah, so they're pitching. It has potential to be subdivided. Good to know. 156 Red Bank. So this is the new planning scheme. The way to find this is just I would just Google draft Ipswich Plan 2024 mapping, and you'll end up on this, which is the same interface as all of the councils have basically now in Southeast Queensland. So the main thing that we always look for under this new scheme is firstly making sure it's in the same zone. So it's in the low density residential zone. It's in the established suburban precinct. So you can actually read about what that means if you click here. Oops, I clicked the wrong one, of course. Click here. So if you go down, large lot, suburban lot, established. So it basically says established residential character maintains lots between 450 and 1,000 square meters. Now, fortunately, the new planning scheme, fortunately or unfortunately, actually has a building height and density overlay which specifies the lot sizes that they envisage. So the lot sizes they envisage here are 800 to 900 square meter lots. Two 800 square meter lots here would fit perfectly, so that makes sense. And there's no other overlays that really affect it. It's still got that high pressure pipeline, which is fine. They've subdivided directly across the street, and some LGIP, which are local government infrastructure plans. And it's not doesn't have a big trunk infrastructure pipe or anything going through there. So overall, looks pretty good. Unfortunately, there's no contours in Ipswich, so I always like to look at the urban utilities mapping. Generally, you'll have sewer mains on the lower side of sites. So if we just search the urban utilities mapping, I know that I usually use our Queensland globe map that we made ourselves, but it just takes a while to load because it has all the Brisbane, NAL, and stormwater and stuff in it. So sometimes if I'm just particularly looking for sewer and water information, I'll just go straight to urban utilities. All right. Zoom right in. So you can see these big contours, so there and there, and then you can kind of just guess as to which way the site's going to be sloping based on those contours. So the fact that the sewer is on the northern side and there's a contour here and here, and all of these lots have the sewer running down the back, you can kind of assume that this all slopes that way. So you would be discharging stormwater onto Redbank Plains Road. That is quite a major road, so it is worth checking the state mapping through the Development Assessment Mapping System. So again, if you're trying to find this map, just go to Development Assessment Mapping System. Now, the easiest way to search it is just get the lot plan number from here, go into the map, search for a parcel of land, and copy and paste the lot and plan number here. The reason why you do it that way is because it immediately shows all of the layers that affect the site, and you can just turn them on and have a look at them. So fortunately, it's not a state-controlled road, so that's a huge bonus. So there we go. I think we found a pretty decent 1 to 2 lot subdivision site in Redbank Plains. Under the new scheme, there may actually be more potential. So if you split it into two, each resultant lot being 800 square meters, then possibly each one you could do a dual occupancy on. Let's have a look. Low dense. I really dislike how they've laid out this new scheme. Accommodation uses in centre zones. All right, low density zone, accommodation, dual occupancy. So accepted development subject to requirements. Generally, those requirements are going to be the dual occupancy and dwelling house code, and this is where there will be a minimum lot size. There you go, 600 to 800 square meters. So you could probably subdivide this lot into two now and under the new scheme. And then under the new scheme, you could possibly do a dual occupancy on each lot. So turning one into two lots and then two lots into 4 houses that you could sell. So that's a pretty good bonus. So it's always worth having a really good planning knowledge, which is why you're a member here. So you can research things like this and take advantage of your planning knowledge and bid possibly higher than your competitors when acquiring the site. So if you have any questions about this one, let me know. I'll include it in this week's site finding list, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.